Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk to you about the phase that happens before you actually select a CPQ solution or before you implement that solution. The solution has typically three names. It's either called a phase zero, it is called the discovery phase, or it is a gain insight phase. There may be a couple of other names for it, but it basically serves three purposes, right? So, first, you want to clarify what is really your key business objective and challenges that you're trying to solve with this configure price quote solution. There are the typical reasons you're issuing the quotes too slowly. There are errors in the quote that you issue. You grant too much discount for that. You don't have enough cross and upsell items in it, and so on. So there's these typical CPQ reasons why you want to have the CPQ solution. So that should be clearly clarified before you even select the CPQ solution. The second reason here is that you want to find out what's the system environment that the CPQ solution is supposed to work in. So that means one thing for sure, you need to know what's the CRM, the customer relationship management, which is also called the front end, and what's the backend environment that it needs to integrate with. So the backend environment would be something like your ERP solution, that could be an SAP, an Oracle, an Epicor, an Infor, and so on. So a whole bunch of different solutions that would work there. And your CPQ, since it sits right in the middle, needs to play with these. So you want to find out what's the environment. There could be a whole bunch of other solutions as well. It could be a CAD solution, computer aided design. It could be product lifecycle management solution, a PLM. It could be a contract lifecycle management solution, a CLM. And it could also be a bunch of other solutions like an e-signature and so on. So, but the CPQ solution doesn't stand by itself. It integrates with a lot of systems, and you need to know what environment does it need to work in. And then last but not least, you need to find out what's the complexity of the requirements that we're looking at, right? So, and that applies mostly, obviously, as the name says, to product configuration, to pricing, to quoting, could also include workflow, could include other things. So it always depends on the industry. For example, for manufacturers, it may be more important to also have visualization, while that is for software industries and so on, obviously not a big requirement. But you need to learn about these different requirements, how complex or simple something is. If you have 5,000 products, but very simple rules, but you have 2,000 rules, you obviously need a different solution than when you have super complex rules. You may have only 500 products, but you have super complex rules, how you put them together. So also you need to see what are the pricing requirements. Do you need, for example, you need a rebate management. You need to have pricing guidance to the sales reps as they go through this. You need to show promotions during your quoting process and so on. So you need to learn more about this. The way you go about this is typically with two steps. And that's for the consultants or the teams that work on this to prepare for the CPQ selection and for the CPQ implementation. That is first, you probably have lots of documents that the company has put together. That could be business process flows, that could be other kind of documents. So there's typically a whole slew of different, I have an idea, PowerPoint, Word document, Excel files, or whatever programs you use in your firm, right? So, but you will have a whole bunch of documents that basically describe how things are done, and it could be in more or in less detail. But that's the first thing to look at to get a better understanding how things are put together. Once the person who's working on this has worked through this, they have a bunch of questions typically, and then you would talk to the different stakeholders. So the stakeholders on the CPQ side, that's potentially a lot of teams, right? So that could be a sales team, a sales operations team, product management team, product engineering team, marketing team, IT team, finance team, legal team, and so on. There could be a whole bunch of different teams which are involved. So for me, the main point here is um, this phase makes sense. It requires different time depending on how complex the situation is, how much you want to go into this. I would say most customers use anywhere between 1 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is rather long. It's more for an enterprise type of firm where you have lots of different process to go through, right? For most others, it will be shorter, right? So in this case, you just need to go through have a meeting with whoever is supposed to work on this. And by the way, Novo CPQ Consulting works on this as well. We've done this for many firms. If you need help there, let us know. I think we can provide you some very useful information in that regard. So now, what have you done after this phase 0 or discovery phase or gate insight phase is done? You have set the stage so that you can either you can go ahead and say, okay, I know now the basics, what I need from a CPQ solution, but I'm still thinking about adjacent capabilities like visualization, billing, revenue recognition, subscriptions, and many other things. I want to learn more about this before I make a decision. What's the right solution? Or if you think you already know exactly what you want, you can skip this phase and go straight to the CPQ selection process. And that is also something where we can help. I'm happy to tell you more about that separately. If you have any questions concerning this phase 0, how that helps, if you're interested in this second step where you need to know about additional topics that are related to CPQ but not fully there, then let me know. Send me an email to frank.sohn@novocpq.com. Very happy to help you on that one. And then the same thing also with the CPQ selection itself. I hope that was helpful. And I hope you got this point that a CPQ project is a big effort. So you will probably spend a good amount of time, good amount of effort, and good amount of dollars on this. Do it right, spend a little bit more upfront, not too much more, but it's worth the investment. Instead of doing it twice, you have a little more investment, but you do it right the first time instead of doing it twice.